Friends, chess players, welcome back. Today we're resuming our series of instructional games, but this time we're introducing a small theme, candidate moves. What are candidate moves? Generally, in a middle game position, we analyze all the potentially good moves we could play. So first we identify them and then we analyze them. Today I'll be playing these games. In this game, I'll try to express all the moves I'm considering. Obviously, time is what it is, so I'll try to be quick. Let's get started right away. Our opponent is rated 1789. So let's begin. Let me tell you right away that in the opening, it doesn't make sense to do this kind of work because the opening is more about repertoire concepts, so it's more about choice. So let's play the first moves and then we'll start to thinking about candidate moves. So what am I going to show you today? Let's see, let's try to play a Scotch Gambit since you asked me for it. Let's try to play a Scotch Gambit. Knight to f3, knight to c6. We'll do it with the move order. No, let's do it with the d4 move order instead. Then maybe we won't manage to play it. I'll go with the move order d4. Come on, d4, bishop to c4. Let's see, what does our opponent play here? Okay, he plays h6, so we're officially out of any theory and we can start thinking for ourselves. This move here isn't good. It's really much too slow because here we can already recapture the pawn. But I'm going to castle short because I want maximum dynamism, so I want to bring my pieces into play right away. And at this point, we already have a comfortable position. We can simply recapture this pawn, and now he already has to be careful. Because if I capture, let's say, then I attack here. Anyway, we're getting there. Let's start. Here we go. Come on, candidate moves, candidate moves. Surely here we should consider the captures. Knight takes f6. We damage the structure and then see what happens. Knight to f5, a candidate move that's really burning inside me right now, you know? Because we immediately go to take something in this position, right? Maybe the bishop pair. And other candidate moves, maybe development moves. Simple. Rook to a1, knight to c3. You see, I have to do this rather quickly. Surely there are other candidate moves like developing the bishop with bishop to f4. But in general, I evaluate all these moves. Here, as I told you, I'm going to play this move because I want to immediately grab an asset, so I want to take it. Maybe the bishop pair, like taking advantage of the fact that he can't capture on e4 because obviously after rook to e1, he'd be in big trouble. Instead, he plays d5, d5. It's a wrong move because d5 is a mistake. Because you have your king in the center, so you can't afford to play too aggressively, too dynamically. Now, candidate moves. Obviously, I capture here, but be careful because I'm capturing the knight. Capturing on e7 is interesting. Capturing on g7 and then capturing on d5 is even more interesting. I would say, let's not hesitate. Knight takes on g7, check. Maybe it's not the most accurate, but guys, I want to do this thing I'm telling you about. The moves I'm thinking about, the candidate moves. So maybe I don't have much time to think. Now I take this pawn and obviously the knight can escape to h5. That's not a problem. And the king is not safe. He should have brought it to safety. He takes this, fine. We take the knight, he takes the queen, and okay, he doesn't take the queen. Another important mistake on his part, because here his king is very weak, so it would have been useful for him to exchange these queens. No, because he has a lot of dynamic difficulties. Now, I'm definitely not going to exchange queens. I'll play queen to f3 because I want to make sure that with the king exposed and the queen still on the board, so mistake. On his part, he definitely should have exchanged them, even though he was a pawn down. But here now, there are serious dynamic problems related to the position of the king. So, sorry if I haven't shown you the moves. Candidate moves anyway are queen takes d8, queen to f3, and others. Candidate moves like bishop to d6. Let's start considering a couple of candidate moves then. Certainly the developing moves, so knight to c3 is still an interesting move. Bishop to e3 is a developing move, an interesting move. Here, also h3, because I don't want to give up this g4 square, right? And in my opinion, here we can do that because we have a perfectly good position. We can afford to spend this tempo here with h3 to secure the g4 square anyway. This way, he can't come in with the bishop, he can't come in with the knight, and now let's proceed with development. Bishop to a6, this move as well, which further weakens his structure. I would say as candidate moves here, we have taking and bishop to d3 or bishop to b3. Theoretically, I could keep this bishop, but honestly here I'll take, because now I'll consider whether to take the other pawn as well. I'm considering whether to take the other pawn too, or leave it there and continue developing. It would be wiser to continue developing. But since I woke up particularly hungry today, we're going to take it. Fair enough. We're going to take it. Anyway, he doesn't have anything particularly concrete or fast. Now let's develop our pieces. We're down 2 pawns. Rook to g8. He's trying, of course, as he should. As he should. He's trying. I'd say it's time to bring this knight in. So let's play knight to c3 and careful here. It's also defended. So rook to g8 doesn't scare us. We have 2 extra pawns. We just need to... Okay. He's offering us a third one, but we won't take the third. We won't take it. The third doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, it doesn't seem like a good idea to take the third one. I don't see why I should go looking for trouble. Okay, here I could easily lighten up the position a bit with a move like knight to d5. Sorry, knight to d4, because with knight to d5, I was saying I take on d6, and actually I think that's exactly what I'll do, knight. Here we lighten up an excellent position, and in any case, we also remove a defender from the king, which we don't mind that much. He takes, we take, and now we're attacking other pawns. All that's left for us to do is to develop this bishop, which we'll potentially develop. Thank you. We'll develop it, especially now that he's placed the queen there. Maybe we'll develop it differently. Maybe we'll develop it via e3, if that convinces me more. Via e3, so bishop to d4. Obviously, if he takes on b2, well, you know. Here we're speeding things up a bit. As you can probably tell, I'm not telling you the candidate moves anymore. I'm really trying to move through this as quickly as I can. Now, I'd like to find a way to finish up this game somehow. How do we finish this game? In my opinion, c4, c5, the first candidate is c4 to push this bishop away, and there are other candidate moves as well. Obviously, rook to d1, let's bring the rook into play, and... Yes, honestly, these two are the ones that interest me the most. I have to say, I like the idea of getting rid of, let's say, this bishop, and then obviously this pawn will be very weak. So c4 here is particularly free. Obviously, we have to be careful about a whole series of tactical tricks that he's trying. He's trying, like, obviously, rook here. Too bad for him, though, that this is protected, so he can't double up in this way. King here. Now, I would say, you see, I could take more pawns, but I already have such an advantage that I prefer to keep a bit of dynamism, bringing the queen into play where necessary. Now, let's see a little bit how to finish this game. Okay, it's over. Let's play another one. That was too quick. Let's play another one. We have some time. Let's play another one. My opponent has a 2000 ELO rating. Let's play a Philidor. Let's play a Philidor. Come on. Let's see what happens. The Philidor with the Pirc move order. I've already shown you this on my channel, of course. This is the correct move order. Let's see which variation he chooses to go into. He chooses to go into the endgame. Here. Are we going? Fast, right? Because we're still in the opening, I'm playing the line I recommended to you with bishop to e6. And now this structure looks weak, but in reality, it's not that weak. Let's develop the bishop now. In this position, I don't need to play the move c6 because the d5 square is controlled. And so, let's say it's not a problem for me. Maybe later I'll play a 6, but honestly, there's no rush. Bishop to e3. Bishop to e3. And now, which moves do we consider? A 6, as I mentioned before, king to e7. Getting the king settled. I have to say, let's play a 6 so we avoid any issues. And now king to e7. You see the importance of controlling these squares in the Philidor. And now calmly we'll develop the rest of the pieces. Now, speaking of candidate moves, let's consider whether knight to c6 is a candidate. Knight to d7, another candidate. h6, g5, another candidate. I would say that in this position, where do we want to put this knight? Okay, h6. Actually, not right away, because there's the knight. So here, I'd say we put it here. Come on. The knight on c6 seems very active to me. He plays a 3, a bit problematic, because now our position, you see, I have everything under control. First candidate, b5, and let's go straight for it. And other candidate moves. Always rook to g8, maybe to prepare g5, rook to d8 to develop the rook. But here we want to play energetically b5, right? Let's go straight to attack, let's say, this side of the king. Or good night, not the king's side. This is the queen's side. Let's see what our opponent comes up with. Our opponent... Now we want to go for it, energetically, right? Rook to b8, you see this Philidor, right? These pawns may look weak, but actually they're not. In reality, they're not. Now, of course, there are other candidate moves that I didn't mention before. Knight here, knight there, other important candidates. But honestly, here we should go for b4 without any doubt, because after bishop takes b4, watch out. There's also a tactic with the pawn on e4 being threatened since the pre-move wasn't taken, okay? Well, now you have to be careful. Bishop takes c3, knight takes e4, okay? I imagine that you won't. Okay, if you want, it can be a bit risky. This move, because I still don't want to open up. You see, I considered bishop takes and then knight takes e4 as candidate moves, but I'm still thinking about it. Because with the king on e7 and the weakness on e5, maybe after rook e1, he could come into play on the e-file. And honestly, this doesn't make me particularly satisfied. Not at all. Really not at all. And then another bishop move to free up this square. Maybe there's no reason to be like this, no reason to rush so much. Let's do one thing. Let's do this. Rook to d8. Why this move? Because now I'm trying to lighten the position a bit, maybe exchange a couple of rooks, because then I might be able to capture the pawn better, the pawn. Now he plays this, knight to f4, to obviously aim for the c5 square. Honestly, this way we kill two birds with one stone. This time, yes, this time we're definitely going to take it. This time we're taking it. We're well prepared because we don't have to give up the bishop, so I take it for free. The bishop now, if he wants, goes back to d6, which is a very, very solid square. We already have an extra pawn. Let's see what our opponent does. Let's see what he comes up with here. What does he come up with? Now we'll evaluate whether... Okay, bishop to c3. Candidate moves. Bishop to d6, first candidate. Obviously not bishop to a5 because the bishop would play badly, and rook capture is another candidate. Now the question to ask is, do we want an extra rook or not? But you know what? I think we should trade one. I think we should trade one. I'm more convinced about removing a rook. Now he'll have to capture, basically, and then we play bishop d6. I'm more convinced by this because now the rook on d8 would have been blocked, so we got rid of it. We got rid of it. Okay, at the moment we're controlling everything. We have an extra pawn, c4. Okay, obviously he wants to play c5. He wants to win a piece from us, basically with this c5. And we have to be careful because the threat is real. So at this point, we have to bring the bishop back here. Not that we mind, this square is very good for us. We can reinforce it further with a5. Honestly, we do not have any particular problems. We always have to be careful about this square. c5, okay, b3. We don't like it. We don't like it because, in my opinion, it creates more weakness. What else? Let's play a5. Let's play a5. I kind of paused with the candidate moves selection because, well, this one here, okay. So let's see what your idea is. You want to bring in the bishop and then you want to bring in the rook, I understand, but I can go here and it doesn't seem like you have any particular entry, so we go here. If necessary, now we'll play h6 and g5 and then maybe rook to d8 to solve the last problem of the position, which is the occupation of this file. Watch out. Now, even the knight on d4, right? It's very interesting. It's very interesting, yes. Yes, rook to d8, and we play out the endgame. One of the last things, in my opinion, that remains to be done in this position, besides having, let's say, the extra pawn. Okay, rook to d3. As I said, we'll make this move. We'll make this move. Okay, you want to put the bishop there, but in my opinion, it's not a great placement. I'll let you do it, no problem. Now the bishop and also the knight are particularly blocked. Rook to d8. Let's remove the last active piece. I hope for your sake you don't play rook here because you'll get a check as big as a house. So let's say it's pretty much almost forced to exchange the rooks because rook to f3 seems to me a bit of a move. Okay, my friend, I even told you, but you don't listen to me. Obviously, there's material hanging, so we take it, we thank our opponent, and of course our opponent resigns because he realizes that besides being a pawn down, he has also lost the exchange. We played 2 games today. In the end, just 1 game would have been too quick for today. I hope you enjoyed this format. I tried to tell you the moves I was thinking about, though I wasn't always able to do so. Because, you know, doing it for every move, obviously, during a video, It's not easy, but that's the idea. Try to have your candidate moves and then choose among those that, let's say, we've identified during the decision-making process. What can I say? Thank you for watching both games. If you want to support the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, leave a like, and drop a tactical comment. I'll see you in the next videos.